Anyway, let's get to the real issue here, okay? The Chinese balloon.
Over the Chinese surveillance balloon. It's floating high over Montana. Mola Lenghi is on the scene in Billings with the latest. Good morning, Mola.
Good morning, George. National security officials say they are monitoring this Chinese surveillance balloon that traveled from Alaska through Montana here and is still on the move. Pentagon officials telling ABC News they decided not to shoot the aircraft down, but they're leaving all options on the table.
This morning, a suspected Chinese...
Dude, how the fuck can one balloon just absolutely eviscerate America's, like, air defenses? I actually don't get it. I legit don't understand, because it's like, what the fuck's going on, man? I mean, it's been it's been there for like a couple days now. They've been tracking for a couple days. But it's wild. They're like, oh man, the debris will fucking fall in to you know, areas and harm people potentially. That's why they're like not trying to hit it. But I don't know. We have like $7 gazillion in defense. We can't fucking take down a balloon. What the fuck?
Surveillance balloon hovering over the northern United States for days.
The United States government has detected and is tracking a high-altitude surveillance balloon that is over the continental United States right now.
The balloon seen here, flying over Billings, Montana, where it forced a ground stop at the city's airport, halting all commercial and general aviation flights in order to clear the airspace. It's roughly the size of 3 buses, with a technology bay attached beneath it, believed to be carrying high-resolution cameras, according to a senior U.S. official. Sources describe it as an aircraft designed to travel in a purposeful path, one that includes a number of sensitive U.S. sites.
These are balloons that can be used for surveillance, for Earth observation.
I feel like, I feel like the way they're talking about this fucking balloon is doing 2 things. One, it's making me feel like we ain't shit, okay? That's number 1. And number 2, I feel like they're going to be like, this is why we need $700 more gazillion dollars. We were going to donate a bunch of money to like the Mr. Beast style cataract surgery, but instead we're going to do like, you know, anti-balloon measures. You know what I mean? We need to do $700 gazillion dollars for anti-Chinese balloon measures. Clearly this is an area of weakness for us.
But they can also be used for military purposes. In this case, perhaps the Chinese were looking to collect high-fidelity imagery of sensitive U.S. sites where they may have been intercepting communications, but they also could have been testing U.S. air defenses.
A senior
China said it was a weather balloon, by the way. Wait, really? What happened? It went astray?
Defense officials saying they are confident the balloon was sent by the Chinese government. And this isn't the first instance this has happened in recent years.
Once the balloon was detected, the U.S. government...
This guy's awesome, dude. Brigadier General Pat Ryder. We've tactically ascertained the balloon is overhead, coming in from clear skies, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure, hoorah, we're going to take this balloon down.
Acted immediately to protect against the collection of sensitive information.
This morning, the Chinese government cautioning against what they describe as hype, claiming they're still gathering facts. The Pentagon, now closely tracking the balloon, says it currently poses no physical threat to civilians, commercial aviation, or U.S. military assets. Still, on Wednesday, defense officials say, as a precaution, the U.S. Air Force mobilizing F-22 fighter jets in case the order was made to shoot down the balloon. The contrails seen here in this image.
It may have been possible for the U.S. Air Force to shoot this balloon down, but that also raises a risk. And that risk is if the missile misses, or even if the missile hits the balloon, it could send hot shrapnel down on civilian areas anywhere in Montana.
Well, U.S. officials say the path the balloon appears to be taking flies it directly over some sensitive U.S. sites, including one of the nation's 3 nuclear missile silo facilities at Malmstrom Air Force Base here in Montana, George.
Okay,
another really funny part about this coverage has been like, there are a lot of weapons at the Malmstrom base. All of our nuclear silos are at the Malmstrom base, located at this address. It would be a real shame if the Chinese balloon saw all of our nuclear silos at the Malmstrom base. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, you just said it, so I guess they know. Now they know. You know, they didn't need the fucking balloon to see that. Guys, this is our top secret air base that has all the nuclear silos. It would be really fucked up if the Chinese knew how to speak English and tuned into the broadcast to find out that the Maelstrom Air Force Base in Montana is housing the nuclear silos. I mean, I'm too stupid. I'm sure there's something else going on. But like, it's just like, I don't know. It just comes across very funny when they're like, dude, we can't let the Chinese take photos of this photo. We cannot. It's literally like saying we cannot let the Chinese look at this and then posting a photo of the base itself. You know, if they see this right now, this photo in my hand, we are fucked. The fucking thing sees underground, dude. Wait, what? Response from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China. They say, according to media reports, a Chinese unmanned airship has been spotted in the U.S. airspace. Do you have any comment? The airship is from China. It's a civilian airship used for research, mainly meteorological purposes. Affected by the westerlies and with limited self-steering capability, the airship deviated far from its planned course. The Chinese side regrets this unintended entry into the airship in the U.S. airspace due to force majeure. The Chinese side will continue communicating with the U.S. side and properly handle this unexpected situation caused by force majeure. I believe it. No, I do believe it. Not because like I glaze up China or whatever, but I believe it because they didn't bomb it. If this was like actually a spy balloon, they would have blown it up and then you would have never heard about it. And then people that like posted it on TikTok they wouldn't have been killed or anything, obviously, but like they would have just like quietly dealt with it. Do you think China doesn't do espionage inside of U.S. borders? Of course they do. They do it all the fucking time. And guess what? We do it nonstop as well. But if it's like if this was something that caused like legitimate harm, they would have just dealt with it without you hearing about it. That's usually my assessment. Because flying over like U.S. airbase or flying over U.S. territory or just, flight paths are always internationally communicated amongst foreign adversaries. Like, for example, when Russia is fighting in Syria and the United States is fighting in Syria, they literally tell one another all the time. It's protocol to tell exactly where your planes are going. The United States military knows exactly where the Russian Air Force is going, and the Russian Air Force knows exactly where the U.S. is going. Even before, for example, when Donald Trump blew up the fucking base in Afghanistan, I believe, when he utilized weapons in Syria, and there was a Russian air base or a base that like Russians were using, they told them ahead of time, and they left the base before it got blown up. So if they're doing actual espionage, we wouldn't have fucking known about it. And by we, I mean us in the public. The American government would know about it, but this is the tweet counter that's popping off. Wow, I can't believe that China accidentally floated a balloon over the U.S. Here's a totally unrelated map. Didn't we just facilitate another deal with the Philippines? The unsinkable airbase, as they call it, which is also known as an island. No, literally. What the fuck? Xi Jinping, let's spy on the U.S. PLA General, yes, sir. We have many advanced surveillance options. May I recommend a satellite or a radar stealth drone? Xi Jinping, no. Giant balloon. General, yes, sir. Xi Jinping, make sure it's big enough that everyone can see it. We're going to use a giant balloon that every American can see. Oh, wait, duh. That's what this coverage is about, isn't it? To hype up support for a super airbase? Sorry, dude. The Pentagon says you're wrong. Watch. Pentagon says U.S. rejects China's claims that the spy balloon is not being used for surveillance. Okay. So they're just posting L's then. Is that what the Pentagon's doing now? They're doing the, you guys defunded the police and you defunded the U.S. military. And that's why we can't take this goddamn balloon down. No, I Anyway, yeah, the Pentagon has famously never lied about a foreign adversary's actions before, of course. The U.S. State Department just announced Blinken is postponing his trip to China as a result of a Chinese weather balloon accidentally drifting over to U.S. airspace. Okay, that actually is shocking. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he would just still go there. I'm of the mindset that they are definitely communicating. The Chinese military and the Chinese government and the United States government are communicating at this very moment. Based on its likely prior path, the U.S. would have first seen the balloon as it approached Alaskan airspace at least 48 hours prior, so the U.S. made a deliberate decision not to announce the balloon for 2 full days as they watched it drift down toward the lower 48. Also, if they wanted to fucking blow it up, why didn't they blow it up over Alaska? You know what I mean? If they said that they were following it, so what's up? If this was like legitimately a fucking genuine threat, they said that they were following the flight path. You know what I mean? The U.S. also would have almost certainly known this was a weather balloon that posed zero threat almost as soon as they detected it. They also are well aware that weather balloons have little means of charting their own course. Thus, there is no valid reason for the feigned outrage by U.S. officials since it's obvious even a child what happened was both unambiguously unintentional and wasn't a threat. So why all the theatrics? The only purpose of this overly dramatized performance serves is to purposely further stoke the fires of public consent for the war with China. I mean, yeah, I see that. Oh, fuck. China has every Amerifat Facebook feed looking like this. Yeah, they're like, I see the balloon. I see the balloon, brother. Here's what I said. As soon as this popped off, my first and immediate reaction was, why would China need a surveillance balloon? One, they have satellites, okay? So that's number one, which, you know, are pretty fucking powerful, okay? And two, they have TikTok. Like, if they literally want, you know, immediate access, they have TikTok. And they have satellites. Why the fuck would they send a balloon that everyone can see over U.S. territory deliberately? You can actually steer a balloon. Yeah, if there's someone in there, right? And not very well regardless. You have to literally steer a balloon by... Not a weather balloon? No. Like you have some level of steering as long as you're controlling how much juice is in the balloon, right? Isn't that how you do it? The Pentagon already said yesterday the balloon isn't adding any value that the Chinese couldn't get from satellites in low Earth orbit. Yeah. No, you do not have full control over how, you know, balloons can fly, but you can like, it's still mostly dependent on wind, okay? But you can lower the balloon or make it go higher by trying to hit like other wind currents, right? Isn't that how you do it? I don't know. I don't know, but like I'm pretty sure that's how you do hot air balloons, right? You like try to fucking try to find the adequate wind currents, and that's how you do it. Unless you have like a propeller. Yeah, there's different wind directions and different altitudes, so you go lower to hit like a different wind direction, and then you go higher to hit a different wind direction. Isn't that how they do it? But it's not a hot air balloon anyway, so I don't think there's any... I do not think that there is any meaningful way that this fucking balloon is like being controlled. Hot air rises, so increase the flame to go higher. Yes, I know that. I am familiar with how hot air balloons work. I'm describing to you how hot air balloons work. That's what I'm telling you. Cappadocia is the hot air balloon place in Turkey. Yes, I have been there. It's beautiful. Anyway, the only purpose of this overly dramatized performance serves is to further stoke the fires of public consent for war with China. The looming threat of conflict that the U.S. actions are making increasingly likely must be fought against at all costs. Habibi, they caught the balloon. You fucking wish. Anyway, there is a way to control them. Why would China use them otherwise? What do you mean? The reason people use weather balloons all the time, it's like probably a low cost alternative to like something that you constantly have to manipulate, and we use them. Everybody uses balloons. Weather balloons are a thing. Anyway, how soon until a redneck goes up and shoots it down himself? No, man, what the fuck? You can't. It's way too high up there, chatter. What the fuck? You can't just shoot at it. What the fuck do you mean, dude? That's awesome. Dude, what are you going to use to shoot it down, dude? Like you say sniper rifle, right? You have to remember gravity, okay? Gravity is a factor in this process that you are failing to consider. Like directly shooting above when it's like, you know, however many thousands of fucking feet in the air, you're not hitting that thing, okay? Like when you're using a sniper rifle on a target on the ground, yes, it can travel a long distance, a much longer distance than like directly shooting it above yourself. Yeah, I can order food. You want to give your feedback on this Chinese weather balloon? Or spy balloon, sorry. Oh shit, I think Austin just showed up too. Murat said, no. If you want food, you have to give your take. Okay, I'm kidding. Come here. Don't be a fucking bitch, dude. Jesus Christ. Ne? This is my sniper, dog. Yeah, Marjorie, get in there. Get in there, Margarine. Shoot that fucking balloon down. What is this? Dr. Roger Marshall, MD. What is this fucking check mark? It's a verified account because it's a government or a multilateral organization. Okay. I condemn any attempts the Chinese make to spy on Americans. President Biden must protect the sovereignty of the U.S., whether it's our airspace or the southern border. It's 13 miles up. It would be like shooting a balloon at JFK from Bushwick, except it's not, because you can, I mean, I don't even think you can, I don't know how long bullets can travel, but if you're going parallel to the ground, That's entirely different than going literally directly above. No, Murat, we're talking about fucking using guns. Because someone asked how long until a redneck tries to shoot it down or like successfully shoots it down. Yeah, obviously you can use surface to air missiles if you want to take it down. That's not what I'm talking about. His take was, you know, they can shoot down ICBMs, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, bullets also, there's the other side of bullets. When you shoot them up in the air, they also come down. And they are still just as lethal when they come down. So there's that reality too. So I hope to God no dumb fucking redneck motherfucker is trying to shoot it. Get Steven Seagal out there with a 270 and it's toast. Steven Seagal, I could shoot down the balloon with a 22 if I needed it. Give me a Ruger, I got this. Anyway, so listen, that my analysis on the situation is similar to what that Twitter thread was, which is like pretty sure it's not like a serious spy balloon, especially because like they're not getting any actionable intel from a fucking spy balloon that they can't get with like by planes or satellites in general. And if they want more information, you're capping, but like they already have this technology. Why the fuck would they just use a balloon, dude? What are you, stupid? Not only that, but if they want personal information, well, they got TikTok, so they got that covered too. Oh, watch out. You know? So I assume it's more to just like, you know, agitate Americans and be like, yeah, that's right, China's doing this. It's embarrassing to us. The Chinese are embarrassing us with their weather balloon. Spy balloon. They're laughing at us and they're spying on us, that sort of thing. But yeah, first, there's a long history of using balloons to get to the U.S. The general concept isn't new. Japan used highly inaccurate balloon bombs to try and start fires. One incident killed 6 people, but it was declared a secret and hushed up. The Army has been experimenting with high-altitude balloons for comms relay, ISR, and other missions, although it's open question if the U.S. would do direct overflight during peacetime. Much remains classified. It's cheaper. That's the only reason why you use a balloon, because it's cheaper, right? It can stay in the air for longer. It's cheaper, that sort of thing. It should be noted that modern balloons, unlike their World War II Japanese counterparts, have some control in their direction. The computers on board can pick the best altitude to get to where they want to go or come as close as possible. This is how they steer. There you go. It's not any different than what I was saying. Yeah, it's less energy dependent and it can stay afloat for a longer time. It's also cute. Yeah, there you go. But more importantly, yes, they can ride the currents. They can, analyze what the wind currents are going to be and, deflate, inflate appropriately, I guess. So there is that. So I wasn't off base on my assessment or my assumption, rather. Also, on top of that, it should be noted that modern balloons, unlike they can go wherever they want to go. Shooting down balloons with conventional weapons is a tricky business. Modern missile systems aren't meant to shoot at them. First, their IR signature is minimal, so you can scratch AIM 9X off the list to start. Then there's the altitude. These balloons can hang at over 90,000 feet. The best U.S. interceptor, the F-22, tops out at a little above 60K feet. Problem is, even if they go there, shooting it down is next to impossible. The gap in altitude is sufficiently large that guns aren't even an option. Neither is AIM 9X. AIM 120s are radar-guided missiles. However, because the balloon has no Doppler compared to the wind and clouds around it, systems tend not to see it. Modern weapon systems are designed to ignore things that don't move, like chaff, clouds, or balloons as a side effect. AIM-120 wasn't really designed to engage targets at 90,000 feet either. The control surfaces don't function as well as such high altitude. I feel like it's a double bind. You get to, you know, anger people and tell people that like China is embarrassing us and spying on us, even though they fucking are already, obviously. But this time they're spying on us with like this thing that you can see. It's like tangible, you know? And it's close, but so far at the same time. And also our current systems are not designed to shoot down these balloons. So we just need more money to fight against China. Sorry, guys. You will never be getting healthcare. We need to make sure that we have anti-balloon technology that we're working on. MIM-104 Patriot missiles can hit things at high altitude, but again, not meant to hit things that have no relative motion to the wind. Directed energy weapons might work, but we don't have those in service for this mission. This isn't the first time China has sent an ISR balloon over U.S. territory, according to the U.S. defense official. They also claim that the U.S. isn't shooting it down because of concerns about where the wreckage would land. It's also worth noting in this region of the U.S. where some of its Minuteman III ICBM silos are located, countries get really twitchy when you start parking military hardware over their nuclear arsenals. This is part of why the Chinese ambassador may have gotten a summons. The fact that it was clearly visible to people on the ground in Billings and that it appeared to be as big as the moon suggests that the balloon is either huge or that it's a high altitude low enough that engagement might be possible. Still, this is a low point for U.S.-China relations. Yeah, they spotted it over Alaska and then Montana where there's no fucking people. Yeah, they spotted it over Alaska. They could have just shot it before it even entered. You know, they could have tried and shot it literally as it was like flying over Alaska. What do we got? No fucking surface-to-air missiles in Alaska? I doubt it. We definitely have some kind of fucking countermeasures for ICBMs. You know what I mean? Either if you don't have that, you have no nuke. You have no fucking defense for nuclear weapons. We definitely have it. Yes, Russia is next door. I know. I'm saying it's impossible. Bro, we have an E3 and 2 tankers following it. It's awesome. Just fly a really big pair of scissors with a balloon attached to it. Call it the Balloon Wars. Balloon. The tweet just said it's not made to not shoot slow-moving objects. To be fair, that is true. A balloon and the way that it fucking operates in the airspace is very different than something that has like a thermal imprint. Or something that is like cutting through the wind differently than the way that the balloon goes along with the wind. So targeting systems potentially are not developed to shoot down a balloon. It's developed to shoot down missiles. So maybe that's the reason why they can't blow it. I don't believe it though. I just genuinely do not believe that you can't. A balloon is like. A balloon just fucking wrecks our defense systems in its entirety. You know what I mean? There's no fucking way. I don't believe it. You don't need a target. You can see it. No, it doesn't matter. Just because you can see something doesn't mean you can shoot it, chatter. Do you not understand what I was just describing to you? The balloon is still higher, like thousands of feet higher than where planes are. Anyway, Hasan, I can see the moon. So yeah, you can see the moon too. You think you can shoot it? A second balloon has hit the tower. Stop. A high-altitude surveillance balloon was detected and its movements are being actively tracked by NORAD. Canadians are safe and Canada is taking steps to ensure the security of its airspace, including the monitoring of a potential second incident. A second balloon! What is that song? Dude, yeah, you're right. Okay, we played a little bit. I hope they don't fucking mute this part of the VOD. It's not a party balloon at 90,000 feet. There's very little pressure, so shooting holes in it doesn't make it deflate like people imagine. I mean, the point, you can't even shoot at it. So that's the issue, from what I understand. Or that's what they're claiming, is that you can't even shoot at it because it's too high. I think, unironically, the best defense against the balloon is more balloons, it seems. So what they need to do is deploy another balloon that's above it and then drop a bomb on top of the balloon. Right as it's like, with a payload. Right as it's like on top of the other balloon. It's a balloon arms race. It's a balloon battle, dude. Austin, I do not want Chick-fil-A. Get the fuck over here, dog. What are you doing? Where are you? You said you were going to come here 2 hours ago. Wait, what? So if this balloon has a nuke on it, you're saying we could have been nuked without noticing? I don't think so. I think they could probably hit the nuke. There are more effective ways of like dismantling or stopping nuclear payload than there are, from what I understand, a fucking balloon. Anyway, so this is still a low point for U.S.-China relations. P.S. Shooting at it with either guns or missiles means ordnance or the exploded bits thereof will come raining down on people below. Anything that misses the target will continue downrange for many miles. There's also the potential, like, if there is any sort of like counter missile systems inside of the fucking, not the balloon, but like the other part of it, then you can just like possibly fucking reorient an American missile into literally the Mall of America. You know what I mean? And that's not good either. That would be a big fuck up for the U.S. military. So that's probably another reason. Someone in the chat said, yeah, they got fentanyl up in them balloons. That's how they're sending it over, brother. I agree. The balloon poses almost no risk to people on the ground. 20 millimeter cannon shells and AIM-120 missiles that miss the balloon or go right through it pose a non-trivial risk to civilians on the ground. No need to make a bad situation much worse. But why are they using a balloon? I work with satellite data. We have sats with 1 meter ground resolution and a revisit rate for 4 days. Why in God's name would you use a balloon when a satellite would give you the same intel and be completely undetectable? That's a fantastic question that I do not know the answer to. Because you're operating under the assumption, even though this is supposed to be like the reasonable person, okay? You're operating under the assumption that China is spying with a fucking balloon instead of a fucking satellite. That's the problem. Which is the reason why I stated that, like, it would be silly for them to send a fucking balloon that has significantly less control over its movements over U.S. airspace instead of just using satellite imagery. And then also on top of that, like, fuck the satellite, that they can, like, get personal information too if they want to. The balloon has to have a thermal footprint. It's coming from the sun hitting it. We have specially designed missiles that can shoot satellites. In fact, we have done this before. In 1985, an F-15 shot down a satellite using a missile called the ASM-135 ASAT. Same missile is more capable of taking this balloon down. Wait, really? The first photo is of a weather balloon. It isn't in the atmosphere yet, so it has begun to inflate. The second photo is of the Chinese balloon. I don't know what exactly it is, but it's definitely not a weather balloon as China claims. Yeah, dude, Intel Doge. He's on it, dude. Wait, what? This looks exactly like a fucking... What? Did he just post this and say it's very different? That guy hates you? Yeah, I know. Remember when I said he looked Amish and gets no pussy? And then he got mad for like a month? This is a high-altitude surveillance balloon, helium-filled balloon. Solar panels provide power. Instruments can include cameras, radar, sensors, and communications equipment.